you ready? Is you ready? You say you ready? Whole squad ready? Is you ready? Are you ready? Is you ready? Are you ready? Is you ready? You say you ready?
It is a somewhat cloudy but beautiful day here in Baltimore. Third member of our broadcast team, Melanie Collins, downstairs. Melanie.
Thank you, Greg. Well, the Browns will be facing a tall task today, going up against the league's #1 overall offense without 3 of their starters in the secondary. Both starting cornerbacks, Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams, are both nursing hamstring injuries. Meanwhile, safety Morgan Burnett has been dealing with a quad injury. Freddie Kitchens told me he does not anticipate having those corners back for at least another week, potentially 2, and that Burnett is the closest to making a return. But, Greg, the good news is Demarius Randall returns to the lineup after clearing concussion protocol on Tuesday, and they're going to need all the help they can get.
So there is a familiar face in that starting secondary. Freddie Kitchens done something unusual here, Trent. They won the toss and they've elected to take the football. We don't see that very often.
You don't see it very often. Everybody wants to defer so they can get the double dip going into halftime and coming out in the second half, but Freddie Kitchens wants to get this offense going.
Opening kickoff into and through the end zone, and so the Browns will start from their own 25-yard line, and that means Baker Mayfield.
Getting a chance to talk to him last night, it was all about getting the edge back. And I was like, what do you mean your edge? He said, I just play better when I have an edge. I just want to be aggressive, but I want to be smart. Don't turn the ball over, but also play loose. And Freddie Kitchens was telling us, we just need to get him into a rhythm, and that's my job as a play caller, is get him started off fast so he can get in a rhythm.
Freddie Kitchens in his first season as the head coach of these Cleveland Browns. Nick Chubb in the backfield alongside Mayfield. And Mayfield will throw the quick pass, and it's batted down by Pernell McPhee. So there's a theme right off the bat, Trent. We heard nothing more about these Browns and the fact that Mayfield wanted to get rid of the football in a hurry. His offensive line gets Chris Hubbard back at right tackle, who missed last week's loss to the Rams with a foot injury. 2 great wideouts in Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry, and second-year running back Nick Chubb, too.
Well, you mentioned getting the ball out of his hands quickly, and a lot of that is due to rhythm passing. When you're throwing the ball on rhythm, throwing to your first target, that's when you can get into a rhythm. That time, nobody blocks McPhee coming off the edge, and instead of dropping it down and trying to sidearm it around him, he ends up knocking it down.
This is Chubb, and Chubb popped pretty good at about the 29-yard line by Matt Judon. Ravens 3-4 defense. Big guys across the top. They are missing Brandon Williams starting at one side. At linebacker, Matt Judon, 3 sacks in 3 games in his 4th year out of Grand Valley State. The secondary still missing the veteran cornerback Jimmy Smith for a 3rd straight week. Brandon Carr starts for him. 3rd and 6.
Well, Greg, I really like these 2 safeties. Earl Thomas coming over after years in Seattle, but he and Tony Jefferson have a big presence in the backfield.
Mayfield pulls it down a couple of times, and then he goes down at the 24. Pernell McPhee, Tyus Bowser.
The Ravens line 6 defenders up at the line of scrimmage and only rush 4, dropping 2 into the underneath coverage. So those 2 guys dropping out in the middle, that takes away the quick throw. As you look at Mayfield, he was trying to throw to the outside, just not there as the pocket collapsed around him.
Jamie Gillen kicking it away to Cyrus Jones. And this ball will sail out of bounds, and we'll see where they mark it. And it looks like it's going to be right about the 30, maybe the 29, 28-yard line. And here comes Lamar Jackson, and everybody talks about this young man much the same way they talk about Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. He can not only throw the football, but he can run it really well.
Well, I think he made a name that first week when he threw 5 touchdown passes, and he goes into the press conferences as not bad for a running back. So he spent a lot of time this offseason on improving his passing game, improving his accuracy, and we'll get into that more as this game goes along.
Mark Ingram for a couple. The offensive line working in front of Lamar Jackson includes the great right guard Marshall Yanda in his 13th season. And what a pickup Mark Ingram has been, the former Heisman winner, leading the NFL with 5 rushing touchdowns. And he is the perfect running back for these Baltimore Ravens.
Well, and when you talk about the inside run, he wants to keep the ball inside. He obviously has the speed and can get it to the outside, but with Lamar Jackson pushing the edges in the running game, it's nice to have Ingram take it between the tackles.
Gus Edwards has come in now on 2nd and 8. And Jackson can't spin out of trouble, and he goes down, courtesy of Olivier Vernon. Vernon with his first sack of the season. And it'll force the Ravens into 3rd and long.
Well, Olivier Vernon was a big trade acquisition from the Giants. You can see Lamar Jackson wants to get rid of the ball quickly. Vernon knocks Bozeman back and gets his first sack as a Cleveland Brown.
7th time Jackson has been sacked this season. And he looks at a 3rd and 16. Going to run it this side. Ingram. And Ingram brought down just as he crosses the 35 to about the 37-yard line, and that'll force the punt. Here's John Harbaugh. In kind of a reserved mode when we spoke with him on Friday, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was fired up for this game. He was just nice and even keeled, and a lot of times he can come in all fired up, and yes, he had a good attitude about him, good presence, talking about the importance of this game, the importance of the division, the stretch of games that they have coming up. But he felt very good about this team.
This is Jarvis Landry, calls for the fair catch and makes it at about the 16-yard line. 11:21 to play in the opening quarter, and we are scoreless in Baltimore. Back in Baltimore, 2nd offensive series of the day for the Cleveland Browns. And they start at their own 16-yard line. And head coach Freddie Kitchens, who also calls the plays, trying to figure out how to generate more offense than he's been getting. Quick drop, quick pass over the middle. There's a little offense across the 30 to about the 32's Jarvis Landry.
Landry is going to come from the backside. He's getting the slot, but it draws the attention when you get the play fake going this way with a double tight end to that side. So that's going to draw the attention of the defense. Hey, this is going to be a run. And then all of a sudden you dump it over the middle. Nice quick completion, good drive starter.
16 yards and a first down. Now from the 32. Quick drop. Mayfield throwing, and his man slipped down. That was Odell Beckham Jr. Well, Freddie Kitchens took over week 9 last year, and things were looking good for the offense at that time, Trent. However, forward to this year, that good fortune hasn't followed him and the team, has it?
Well, it hasn't, and some of that is expectations. Some of it is teams and defensive coordinators having the entire offseason to figure out how you're going to attack Baker Mayfield, how you're going to attack this offense. And yes, the numbers are down, but Freddie Kitchens says we're not in panic mode. We feel like we're getting better every week.
This is Chubb. Chubb brought to a stop at about the 35. Patrick Owasso in on the tackle. Yeah, they feel that it's going to happen, and Freddie Kitchens is by no means in panic mode.
He's not. He said, listen, I'm not big into pushing panic buttons in September. There's a long way to go. Yes, this game is important. They would love to get the win and get into first place in this division. But he said there's 12 games left in this season. We need to continually get better and know that our best product will be further on into the season.
Mayfield with a 3rd and 7 out of the shotgun. Dancing, time, throws, has his man, has the first down to the 45-yard line. Damian Ratley with the catch. Great protection for Baker Mayfield.
Great pass protection by the Browns, giving him plenty of time to throw this football. Chubb stays in to block. Look at how the number of one-on-one blocks across the board, and they're all winning those battles one-on-one. Excellent time for Mayfield to stay in the pocket, work through his progressions, and get to the target for the first down.
Just under 9.5 to play in the first quarter. New set of downs for the Browns. Chubb, nowhere to go. Wrapped up by Pernell McPhee. Kenny Young also in on the stop. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12.
Well, as much as we're going to say when the Browns defense is on the field, and we mentioned at the beginning the matchup of Myles Garrett against Orlando Brown Jr., just the matchup of Greg Robinson, the left tackle, going against McPhee. Now, that's the second play McPhee's made. He knocked the pass down on first down in the first series. That time he sheds the block of Robinson and makes the tackle for loss.
Chubb again, coming this way this time. He finds a little bit of room, squeezes across the 45 to about the 47-yard line. Looks like it'll be 3rd and about 8. You know, every single Baltimore Raven we talked to about Nick Chubb, they basically said he's a handful.
He is a handful, and he gets it done in a number of different ways. He has been a part of a running back by committee in the past, and now it's his job to shoulder. Kareem Hunt's under suspension right now. We'll get back in week 9, but it's his task to run the football against this defense.
Penalty markers fly. This will go against the Cleveland Browns. Our referee, Sean Hockley.
Before the snap, full start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Eric Cush is the right guard who started too soon.
Well, when talking about some of the struggles, I know the main pressure and focus goes on Baker Mayfield, and that's playing the position. But as Freddie Kitchens said, this is a unit you all have to come together. We're have growing pains along the offensive line. Chris Hubbard, the right tackle, missed last week's game against the Rams. He's back in there. And, of course, we talked about Odell Beckham Jr. They lost David Njoku, the tight end. He's on IR with a wrist injury. So there are some moving pieces trying to get all in sync.
Mayfield pulls it down once, now throws, and the catch is made out close to the 40-yard line. No, incomplete. We have a flag down in the secondary.
Mayfield lucky to catch that snap.
Before the pass was thrown, illegal contact. Defense number 29. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic 1st down.
So that's Earl Thomas, and you were talking before the game what a big pickup that is for this for this Baltimore secondary.
Earl Thomas, 29, as he drops into coverage. Oh, it can't be him. There was nobody even around him. I think they just called the number wrong. It looked more like it was Marlon Humphrey. Number 44 made contact with Beckham at the top of the route.
So it's a 1st down. Mayfield under pressure sets up the screen, and here's Chubb. Chubb around the left side has 1st down yardage.
And Greg, going back to that last play, that's what has so many defensive backs frustrated with some of the rules in the NFL. Here it is, 3rd and 15. You get a 5-yard penalty, but it's an automatic 1st down. So we've had many meetings with different defensive players, especially the defensive backs, that say, how can a 5-yard penalty all of a sudden negate all the good defense that we've been playing that gives them the 1st down? So it happened on that one. 3rd and 15, all of a sudden it gives you new life.
1st down. The pitch for Chubb. Gets a few blocks inside the 40, inside the 35-yard line. Michael Pierce with the stop. And another flag.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, offense number 18. It's a 15-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
That's Damian Ratley, the wide receiver.
Ratley right here at the end of the line of scrimmage. Watch, they're doing more in terms of rules to protect the the defensive player that can't see the hit coming. As he's going back towards the line of scrimmage, Ratley looks like he hits Owasso on the peel back block, and that's just another one of the player safety rules that they're trying to implement.
Cleveland Browns came into this game tied for the most penalties committed in the NFL this season, with 34 of them. So it's 1st and 25. Dontrell Hilliard is in the backfield. Mayfield over the middle, got his man, and motoring to the 40-yard line is tight end Pharaoh Brown. Update time in New York. Let's take you there. JB and Nate.
A Case Keenum pick leads to this.
That's right. Daniel Jones looks left, and then he finds Wayne Gallman Jr. for the 6-yard TD. The Giants, they score early, 7-0.
Back to Greg, Trent, and Melanie.
Thank you, guys. You can see that parade for Daniel Jones forming already in New York.
It was a good start, but there's a long way to go.
2nd and 7. Quick pass outside, complete. Jarvis Landry, and bumped out of bounds right around the 35-yard line by Earl Thomas. Nothing from Earl Thomas is a bump, is it? It's
You know, we were watching him at practice the other day, and I was saying to you, I said he looks more like a linebacker. I mean, we really haven't been around him much, and just his presence out on the field, that's something else. He's a linebacker playing safety.
3rd and 2. Hilliard still on the field. Quick pass again. This one's complete. 1st down and much more to Hilliard. So there's another Cleveland 1st down.
This is just a simple bunch formation, and Hilliard is lined up on the inside of the bunch. 2 vertical by the middle receiver and outside receiver. Hilliard just running to the flat. As you see him, he just gets his head around. That's an easy read for Baker Mayfield. Get the ball on him quickly. Let your receiver turn up, and there had to have been a communication problem with the Ravens. Usually you pass that out. Even if you're in man-to-man, sometimes you'll zone it. It'll be a zone man principle. Whichever one comes in your area, that's who you're taking. Clearly a miscommunication as he was left wide open.
7 minutes of possession time for the Browns. This is Chubb. And Chubb to about the 10. Hard to miss, Trent. Even when that first pass by Baker Mayfield was slapped down, it's still quick passing.
They're trying to get the ball out of his hands, and some of the situations they put themselves in, 3rd and long, 1st and 25 they just had before dumping it off. But he has been getting the ball out of his hands much more quickly today.
12th play of this drive upcoming. On 2nd and 4, this is Chubb again. Maybe a yard. Jarvis Landry looking for a face mask. Matt Judon makes the stop.
Well, it's interesting to see how much the Browns are attempting to run the ball. That's already Nick Chubb's 6th carry on the day, and coming into this game, the Ravens were 3rd in the NFL, only allowing 60 yards a game on the ground. So you can see the Browns trying to establish the run that hopefully can set up some play-action pass.
From the 9, 3 yards for a 1st down, 9 for a touchdown. Mayfield throws wide open to the 5, to the end zone. Ricky Seals-Jones with the touchdown.
Excellent protection for Baker Mayfield that time. Vertical route, underneath route, Odell Beckham over the top. Rub, pick, whatever you want to call it. There's miscommunication by the Ravens, leaving Seals-Jones open for the walk-in.
Austin Seibert, the rookie out of Oklahoma. And his extra point is perfect. Time-consuming drive. The Cleveland Browns put 7 points on the board. We'll take a timeout. Browns lead at 7-0. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Honda. Great deals are waiting at your Honda dealer. Corona Extra. Find your beach. And by McDonald's. Try the new spicy barbecue glazed chicken tenders.
That is a for real Raven at the Maryland Zoo, about 15 minutes from where we are here in Baltimore. Ravens are described as adaptable opportunists who take advantage of any meal that presents itself. Feel free to diagnose that however you like, Trent.
Adaptable opportunists.
Yeah.
So right now the Ravens have to adapt because the Browns just put together a long drive. Was helped by the bump by Earl Thomas that gave him that first down.
Justice Hill from the 1-yard line. Oh, man. Big collision at about the 20. Hey, the Ravens celebrated 100 years of the NFL yesterday at their Fantennial event in South Baltimore. Fans were able to meet Ravens Ring of Honor members and watch a Ring of Honor jacket ceremony. They were also treated to great music, fun activities, all afternoon long. That's Brian Billick, whose Ring of Honor jacket ceremony took place, and we have an injured Brown on the turf, so we'll take a break and come back after this.
Welcome back to Baltimore. Take a look at number 56, Willie Harvey. He'll be in the middle of the screen, and watch how he extends that left arm to wrap up and make the tackle. Then the collision that happens, that arm is still wrapped up, and you can see the other defenders land on top of it. He got up on his own, went to the tent. They're taking a look at him right now.
2:45 to play here in the first. And Lamar Jackson to throw. This side of the field, and that is complete. And out of bounds just across the 25 is Marquise Brown. First-round draft pick out of Oklahoma.
Greg, you and I made a big deal about getting Baker Mayfield into rhythm after the Ravens went 3 and out on their first possession. Come out quickly, 3-step drop, plant the foot in the ground, just throw a hitch. Nice, easy throw to get Lamar Jackson going, get this offense going a little bit.
Until today, and so far, the first quarter this season has belonged to the Baltimore Ravens. That pass is complete, and that's out of bounds, and that's enough for a first down. Mark Andrews, the second-year tight end out of Oklahoma.
Well, already his 20th catch on the season came into today, leading the Ravens in catches. And Lamar Jackson likes throwing to the tight end. He throws to the tight end more than any quarterback in the NFL. The Browns decided to blitz off the front side slot, which left Andrews one-on-one on the backside. Excellent job of recognition and throw by Lamar Jackson.
This is Jackson. And out of bounds at about the 40. Lamar Jackson came into this game 27 carries, 172 rushing yards, and 1 rushing touchdown to go with the 7 that he's thrown for, a pickup of 8. 2nd and 2. I was saying how the first quarter has belonged to the Ravens this season. They've outscored their opponents 34-3 in the first 3 games. And obviously scoreless and down a touchdown here in the first quarter of this one, which has 1:35 to go. Jackson stands up, hits his man midfield. And into Cleveland territory for the first down. Willie Snead with the catch. Once again to New York. JB and Nate.
Nate knows music. Give the drummer some.
That's right, the whole band getting involved, and that's J.C. Jackson. He blocks the punt. And who's going to pick it up? The one and only Matthew Slater, of course. New England Patriots up 13-0.
Back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, guys, thank you. First down. Gus Edwards. And Edwards bowls his way to about the 46. It's funny, Trent, with so much emphasis on one aspect or another for both these teams, you can feel the concerted effort to balance things out.
They're trying to, yes, and you know, coming into this game, as we talked a lot in the open, was just this Ravens offense and how they run the football. They're really, when you think about it, they're setting a different trend. The rest of the league is all pass happy. These guys, they're establishing the run, leading the league in run, and their pass game comes off of the run game.
Jackson's pass is dropped hit Mark Andrews right in the hands and dropped it. 3rd and 7.
When Lamar Jackson threw this football, I wasn't sure what he was trying to do, and he's trying to throw a back shoulder throw. He realizes what the coverage is out in front. He's really trying to protect his receiver. If you lead him towards the sideline, either the ball gets tipped, it goes up in the air, or your receiver is going to take a big shot. So although that looks behind to a lot of people at home, that was actually the right place to put the ball, trying to protect your guy.
3rd and 7. Jackson escapes one tackler. He came back and got him. Demarius Randall wrapped him up. Second sack of the day of Jackson. We're coming back for the second quarter after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon, the network more people rely on. And by Sonic. This is how you Sonic.
Well, the NFL celebrating its 100th season. Some of the Cleveland Brown greats, none greater than that man, number 32, Jim Brown. Legendary running back, 8-time first-team All-Pro, class of 71 Hall of Fame. Jarvis Landry, the fair catch, is made to start the second quarter. And we'll be back in half a minute after this from AT&T. So just underway here in the second quarter. 14:53 to play in the first half, and Mayfield and the Browns from their own 10. Chubb for about 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Well, if you're on defense, that's about as big an indicator as you can get pre-snap. If you see your quarterback trying to move the receiver in to add another blocker because he didn't like what they were showing. So I don't think he was trying to trick everybody. The way he was acting and the way Landry looked at it, you knew it was coming.
Browns would like another drive like that last one. 8.5 minutes off the clock, and they put a touchdown on the board. 2nd and 6. Mayfield throwing to the far side, and that's complete for a first down. Jarvis Landry. As a quarterback, you had to like that last drive. You had to like the penalties that helped too.
Well, and you have to realize he's doing it. The last drive, he had 7 completions to 6 different receivers and spreading the football around, getting big chunks. The shortest completion was 9 yards, and you see the success he had there. 7 of 8, 87 yards and a touchdown on that last drive. But spreading the football around. Right now, the Ravens are trying to figure out how they can get pressure on him. By blitzing extra people, you're going to leave people in man-to-man coverage.
Chubb can go nowhere. Look at the Ravens surrounding him, led by Kenny Young, number 40.
Kenny Young just blitzes right in that B gap, and it's Hubbard that doesn't come down. That they have to collapse down and close off those inside lanes. Hubbard just not there in time. Easy tackle for loss.
2nd and 13. Mayfield 8 of 10 for 100 yards throwing and a touchdown so far. Chubb looking for a breakaway and can't find much running room. Patrick Owasso.
Well, you can see defensive coordinator Wink Martindale's trying to come up with different things to pressure and get into the backfield. This time able to get with just a general 4-man rush. Martindale, his 2nd year as defensive coordinator. A year ago, the Baltimore Ravens had the #1 total defense. This year they've taken a little bit of a step back, but still number 3 in rush defense, holding opponents to only 60 yards.
Quick pass to the far side. And that's Dontrell Hilliard, and Hilliard across the 30, but will not make it to first down yardage. Anthony Levine with the stop. So that'll bring on the punting unit. these Browns, the only team in the NFL with both a rookie punter and a rookie place kicker.
Well, and they're both good. That's a lot of times with rookies, you're worried about them, but these guys have put together outstanding start to the season.
Gillen kicking to Cyrus Jones on the run at the 21-yard line and up the sideline and bumped out just as he crossed the 35. So 11 and a half or so remaining in the first half. It's still a 7-0 Cleveland lead. Well, the verdict is in. America's #1 new drama is All Rise. It's the CBS original series that critics call a must-watch. Catch a new episode of All Rise tomorrow on CBS. Cleveland run more plays, gain more yards, and had the ball an awful lot to this point. Ingram in the backfield along with Jackson. Ingram with the football, found running room up the middle, and comes up about a yard short of a first down. Let's go down to Melanie.
Well, Greg, an injury update on Browns linebacker Willie Harvey, who just made the active roster last week. He walked off the field with the help of medical personnel after that collision on the kickoff return. Spent a few minutes in the tent having his left shoulder examined and then walked down the tunnel. I've confirmed it's a left shoulder injury, and he's questionable to return.
All right, Melanie, thank you. Sort short 2nd and 1.
A lot of times when you get 2nd and short, you try a play action to push it up the field.
Trent, the first thing I thought of when I saw the inactives for Cleveland, starting quarterbacks, Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward not playing, starting safety Morgan Burnett, should that for a quarterback or an offensive coordinator make for easy pickings?
Well, you would think so, and you got to remember Demarius Randall's just getting back. He missed the last couple games because of a concussion. So you'd think you want to test it at some point in time. They've done a good job. Steve Wilkes, the defensive coordinator for the Browns, adjusting and being able to deal with the guys. Terrence Mitchell and T.J. Carey and Eric Murray, those guys have all played in the league for a while, and as it looks like the Ravens pick up the first down.
But if you look at a team, you go, oh, well, but how many times have we said there's a new guy in at quarterback, he's going to get tested right away? It's 3/4 of your starting secondary.
I tell you right now, I would smile on Mondays, because you never know what the next team's about until you get in for that scouting meeting. But you get into that scouting meeting, the first thing they say is 3 of their 4 secondary is out for this game. You would think that the attack's going to be through the air, but right now the Ravens obviously getting it done with the run, and
Marquise Brown trying to turn the corner.
That's what they've done all season. So they're sticking to their plan. And as this game develops, though, Greg, look for some play action pass. And they're going to if you go back to last week's game and even the first week of the season, the Ravens are taking some shots down the field. Now they haven't hit them all, but they're taking some shots down the field.
You had such fun talking with Lamar Jackson about some long balls that he threw last week.
That was quite the shootout with the Chiefs. You know you're going to get into that kind of game with those guys.
Jackson trying to get out of trouble, gets rid of it to Ingram, and Ingram is buried. Forward progress will be marked at midfield. So it'll be 3rd and 7.
Ogunjobi, 65, is going to be the first one to get initial pressure, and Jackson does a smart job just being able to find Ingram to dump it off instead of taking that would have been a good 10 to 12 yard loss.
As it is, the Ravens are looking at a 3rd and 7 with the first down line at the 43 of the Browns. Just 1 of 3 on 3rd down so far today. Steps forward, has time, throws wide open on the far side of the field. That's complete to Chris Moore. "26 yards and a first down."
Well, I believe they're going to challenge. Actually, the challenge flag is already out. His foot looks like the first foot that came down looks like it landed in the white. And that was right on the Browns sideline. So the coaches had a
Cleveland is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass, of a completed pass. Timeout.
So they'll take a look at that and call it incomplete. We'll be back.
Well, they just came back out of the replay booth and they said this is an incomplete pass, and we're going to show you why. It's pretty clear cut. As his toe comes down to the ground, you can see it's clearly in the white. Easy call for the officials to get this overturned. Incomplete pass. Ravens going to punt.
So Sam Cook, one of 3 NFL career punters, spent his entire career with one team. Dustin Colquitt with the Chiefs, Ray Guy with the Raiders, and Sam Cook now in his 14th season out of Nebraska. Jarvis Landry floats over, makes the fair catch inside the 10-yard line. And once again, Baker Mayfield and company will start deep in their territory. Back in a half minute after this from Progressive Insurance. The Browns get this started from their own 9-yard line. And Mayfield sets up the screen. Chubb across the 15 to about the 16-yard line. So for a second, Trent, what do you think about this Baltimore offense that's had 3 drives and 3 punts?
Yeah, you got to give credit to the Browns. They're doing a good job of cutting down the lanes. They're taking away the running game. They're doing an excellent job putting some pressure on Lamar Jackson. The times he has thrown, usually it's the dump-offs or the quick throws. He hasn't been able to stretch the field. And so far, Steve Wilks and that defense have put together a good game plan and executing it.
On 2nd and 2, they will look to Chubb to get the first down. He's got that and more. Across the 25 to the 26-yard line. And they've also kept, for the most part, Lamar Jackson in the pocket.
They have. And Myles Garrett talked to us about that. Joe Schobert talked to us. They said, we're going to have to maintain our lanes. The defense that Steve Wilks has put in, it's about discipline and maintaining the integrity of the defense and not giving up the big plays. It said it's even more important this week against Lamar Jackson, and so far they've executed well.
Myles Garrett taking a breather as the offense continues to work. First down for Cleveland.
Ready, go.
Mayfield. Right over the middle. Hit his man to the 45-yard line. Jarvis Landry. Did John Harbaugh say to us the other day, the Cleveland Browns have 2 great wide receivers.
Well, and when you go to a zone here, and this is what Jarvis Landry, his whole career has been about attacking zones, finding windows, finding creases. That time there, Owasu drops into coverage, and you got Landry on a linebacker, and he just works right into the middle of the field after the play fake allows that to open up in the middle. Excellent job by Landry feeling that, and the throw by Baker Mayfield.
Double reverse, triple reverse. Beckham looking to throw the ball. All the way downfield, incomplete at the 5-yard line. Intended for Damian Ratley and covered by Tony Jefferson.
Well, the escapability of Odell Beckham Jr. Watch this, looks like he sacked 2 guys, and then he stops and he goes ahead and throws it off of 1 foot. When he first threw it, I was like, oh, this is going to be intercepted. You can't throw it that late. This should have been caught.
Right through the hands of Damian Ratley. After all of that, 2nd and 10. Chubb. Left side. Across midfield and into Baltimore territory and knocked out of bounds by Maurice Kennedy. What do you think of Odell when we spoke with him yesterday?
He was very calm, much more calm. He seemed, when he talked to us about being in a good place, he said, the maturity that he's gained, I guess he called them life experiences that he's gained. He thinks it's made him not only a better player, but a better person. And I don't know, there was just a real calming effect about him. He seemed like he was in a good place and happy to be in Cleveland.
3rd and 3. Mayfield, quick pass, intercepted. Picked off by Maurice Kennedy, number 26.
Well, if you're Baker Mayfield, you got to go to Jarvis Landry and say, why are you stopping your route? I'm throwing you a slant. Hey, look, he puts on the brakes. You know there's going to be a collision. If you're a receiver, you've got to go in there and break that up.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Amazon Prime. One-day delivery on millions of items with Prime. Modelo, a taste that's pure gold, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I love this. This is a look at the Charm City Fly-In, an annual festival which features the largest collection of radio-controlled flying in the state of Maryland.
I don't like turbulence, so I didn't like it as much as you.
Mark Ingram. No, the fake to Ingram. The keeper by Jackson. Jackson with running room. All the way to the 29-yard line. 29-yard pickup and a first down for Baltimore.
Jackson just reading the outside defender. There's nobody there on the outside, so he pulls it from Ingram, gets to the outside, uses that speed, has lead blockers. Looks like he kind of stumbles a little bit. That may have gone to the house. He was already holding his head. He knew he missed one there. Had he not stumbled on the grass, he probably would have taken that for 6.
First down now from the Browns' 29-yard line. This time Ingram does get the handoff, still on his feet and close to the 20. About a yard short of a first down. Joe Schobert there to make the tackle, and we'll remind you coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher have all the latest scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
Just knowing how sidelines work, offensive linemen work, offensive line coaches work, they were over there saying, listen, we're not getting anything going. Let's put it on our backs. Let's run the football. Let's start doing what we do best.
This is Gus Edwards, and Edwards spins his way to the 16-yard line, and that is another Baltimore first down as the Ravens have found a spark on the ground game.
When you take a look back all the way to week 11 from last season when Lamar Jackson took over, you see the numbers right there, first in all those categories. And as we've already mentioned today, coming into today, the #1 total offense, #1 scoring offense, #1 rushing offense on this season.
This is Justice Hill. Hill cuts inside a block and gets it to about the 11-yard line. 3.5 to play in the first half. First sustained offense of the day for these Ravens.
And really, it's more about just the manageable down and distance. Yeah, the first play was a big run. Second play was a nice run that set it up, so they ended up having a short down and distance. It's even here, second and 5.
Ingram. And right now, oh, look at the push. I think he's going to be marked down at about the 6-yard line. But right now, this offensive line of the Ravens is having its way.
Well, and this is gonna. You can hear the whistle blow. You could hear the whistle blow, so it doesn't. I know this pile gets pushed a lot, and we see it all the time, especially in college football, that the entire pile gets pushed. But where the whistle blew is where they're going to end up marking the ball. So instead of being down on the 3-4 yard line, it's back on the 6.
Second and goal. Excuse me, first and goal. Ingram lost the handle, went back and got it.
You know me, Greg. I defend the quarterback all the time. I know you say Ingram lost it. This was Lamar Jackson trying to pull it too late and fortunate to get the ball back.
Oh, that's such a lame excuse, Trent. 2 minutes to play.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. And by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Looking at some of the many great players. The Baltimore Ravens, maybe the greatest safety of all. Ed Reed, inducted into the Hall of Fame this summer, and his dad, Edward Reed Sr., at his side to help unveil his Hall of Fame bust. 2nd and goal for the Ravens. Jackson throwing over the middle, touchdown! Miles Boykin, the rookie wide out from Notre Dame. So the Ravens turn the interception into points on the board and now look for the tie with 1:55 to play.
Well, and this was just an excellent job by Boykin, realizing that Lamar Jackson was on the move. That wasn't his route. He was supposed to be crossing the field, but as soon as he saw Lamar break and start moving around, he stopped his route and came back to the middle of the field, recognizing an opening gap there in the zone defense, and Lamar Jackson finding him for the touchdown.
Justin Tucker for the extra point that would tie us with 1:55 to play. And it's good. Cleveland 7, Baltimore 7. Miles Boykin, his 2nd touchdown catch of the season. And the 3rd-round draft pick out of Notre Dame. The 2000 Baltimore Ravens have one of the more dominant defenses in NFL history, led, of course, by Ray Lewis. Ravens made it all the way to the Super Bowl where they met the New York Giants. Dwayne Starks intercepted. Kerry Collins returned it 49 yards for the touchdown. Coach Brian Billick and the Ravens won it, going away 34-7. And coming up shortly at halftime, Brian Billick will be inducted into the Baltimore Ravens Ring of Honor. So it took a while for this Ravens offense to get moving, but it did.
Well, they capitalized on the interception thrown by Baker Mayfield, and you'd see initially on that first play, they took off. Lamar had a big run, and then that kind of got things going. You'd see they leaned on the running game during that drive. Offensive line taking over at that point in time.
Taywan Taylor from the 1. And cut down before he could reach the 15-yard line. Leading the charge, Deshaun Elliott, number 32.
Well, Baker Mayfield now has all 3 timeouts. As we take a look at the return again. With all 3 timeouts in your pocket, you have to be careful with the football. He's just coming off of an interception. Coming into this game, he was 2nd in interceptions with 5. Not sure what Matt Ryan's done today with the Atlanta Falcons. He had 6 on the season, but Mayfield, after throwing that interception, you don't want to lose your stinger. You still want to be aggressive, especially if you have a chance to go down and score. But you also need to be smart with it.
Mayfield incomplete. Jarvis Landry couldn't hang on. Trent, always hear that when a quarterback throws an interception, everybody tells him, forget about it, forget about it. Is it that easy?
Well, you have to. You have no choice. And it's Coach Vermeil always, the phrase that he always used with us is one snap and clear. Doesn't matter if it's interception, touchdown, good play, bad play. You have to go on to the next play. And that's an important part of it. You have to learn how to do that as a quarterback. And Baker has been highly successful at every level that he's played at. And I don't think his confidence is going to waver because of that last interception.
Mayfield throwing over the middle. That is complete to Landry, and Landry has a first down and more. Landry to midfield, trying to stay on his feet, and stumbles forward inside the 30-yard line. They'll mark him down at about the 28 or the 27. Now, the reason you wouldn't call a timeout here is because you don't want to leave too much time. You have a lot of players that are tired. They're trying to work down the field. The 40-second clock is already running, so now they're not even huddled up yet, and it's already to 20 seconds. As you see, Landry trying to maintain his feet and just kept stumbling. So the line of scrimmage is the 22-yard line. And I wouldn't be surprised if they call timeout here. They're under 5 seconds. There's Freddie Kitchens out on the field yelling for a timeout. And Baker Mayfield just saw the play clock, too. So they'll use a timeout here. 51 seconds remaining in the first half, and the Browns knocking on the door. Just a reminder, the Verizon halftime report right around the corner. JB and the guys in New York with scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report. First down, Cleveland at the Baltimore 22. Mayfield throwing right sideline, incomplete, flag is down. This is going to go against the Ravens.
Before the pass was thrown, holding, defense number 44. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
The hold is on Marlon Humphrey.
Humphrey's going to be in man-to-man on Beckham. They called it on the cut. When Beckham went to cut to the outside and he had to dip his head underneath the arms of Humphrey, that's when the flag was thrown.
Odell is yet to catch a pass today. He's thrown one. First down.
They got Humphrey on him. He's the one in motion. Beckham is.
Mayfield flips it, incomplete. Intended for Beckham, broken up by Humphrey. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, and Beckham's looking for the call once again. He tries to do a double move. He's working the drag route. Watch how he goes to the inside. He'll plant his foot and go to the outside. Watch the arm hook. That right arm hooked around the body. That's a hold. And that's why Beckham was so upset after the play. Had that hold not taken place, he gets separation, you get a completion and turn it up the field. Humphrey got away with one there.
No catches for Beckham today, 3 targets. 2nd and 10. Mayfield sets up the screen and Chubb dropped it. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Now what you have to do if you're Baker Mayfield, yes, it's 3rd and 10, but you're already in field goal range. Be smart with the football. If you have to throw it short of the sticks, that's okay. Let your receiver try and get the yards for you. If you stay in bounds, then you also force the Baltimore Ravens to use one of their timeouts, so it gives them some coming back, trying to get the ball and get some points themselves.
Baltimore has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. Mayfield looks left, throws left, has his man, and that is Landry, and Landry knocked out of bounds.
Well, Freddie Kitchens, it doesn't look it. You would think they were okay. Do you kick the field goal or you go for it? So far, there's no move. He's asking for a measurement. He's wondering if it's close enough. He wants to get a measurement. I think he just got waved off by the officials.
There's the tackle made by Earl Thomas. And so they're going to, appears, use a timeout. Or let's see.
They're over there looking at it. They're looking at the spot. The officials are already over at the tablet. Under 2 minutes, you know, it's all controlled by the booth. Let's see where he extends and where his body comes down. The ball is at the 7-yard line.
Which is right about where the first down marker is.
Yeah, but the difference is they have the ball spotted at the 8-yard line out on the field, so that would be another yard. There's no body part that comes down that says it needs to be back at the 8-yard line. So I would anticipate this ball being moved up.
That line that you see, the orange line, is unofficial, but gives you an idea.
But where they have it marked right now is the 8-yard line, and it looks like he extends the ball before contact is made with the ground to get to the 7.
Gene Steratore, good afternoon. Are you watching?
I am, Greg, and here's my take on the play. I think we're right in saying that player never was really down by contact until he was out of bounds. But let's remember, it's where the football crosses the sideline, and that will dictate where they will spot this football. I don't think it's as far back as the 8. I think the question is, does it cross the sideline at the 7? And that may be what they're looking at right now to determine, because that is the difference between a first down or not.
Well, that's a great point, Gene. I didn't realize, even though it looks to our eye that it crossed, as we're going to find out here.
Ruling on the field stands as called. It's 4th down.
Gene, I gather that takes you by surprise.
Now, you know what's really difficult, guys, is because this is a plane, just like the goal line, it is very difficult unless we have this amazing shot, a 1 in a million chance, to show exactly where that ball crossed the goal line, or I'm sorry, the plane of the sideline. So it's tough to overturn or to move a football in that scenario.
All right, Gene, thank you.
That's great clarification, just because you can't tell where it goes. And you can see Freddie Kitchens right now. Looks like he's going to go for it. He's not sending the field goal unit out.
What do you think about this call? Here's a golden opportunity to at least go into the locker room with a 3-point lead. He wants more.
Well, you're on the road. You're 1-2. It's a division game. You realize you're going against the #1 scoring offense in the National Football League. They're putting up nearly 37 points a game. Yes, your defense has played well and you've kept them in check. But I like this call. I like going for it. I'm normally about getting points on the board. You know me, Greg. But I think in this situation, based on the team they're facing on the road.
Mayfield with the keeper, with the surge. And let's see if he got enough.
Well, and it's all about the spot. There's not going to be anything we can see in that scrum that is going to overturn the spot of the ball. We just got clarification from Gene on the last one. Based on the bodies in there.
Ruling on the field is a 1st down for Cleveland. Timeout, Cleveland. Their 2nd of the half. 13.
So Cleveland gets the 1st down, then uses a timeout to stop the clock with 24 seconds to go. Still a bit of a bold move by Freddie Kitchens.
It was a bold move, but you have to understand that the last time Baltimore had the ball, they went down and they scored. And so right now the momentum was going their way, and even if you don't get it, yes, Baltimore has 3 timeouts, but even if you don't get it, Baltimore has the ball at the 8 with 30-some seconds left, and I don't know. I felt good about it. It was the right thing to do. Sending a message to your team as a head coach, you have opportunities to send message to your team. Now it's up to the Ravens to try and keep them out of the end zone.
1st and goal.
Still have 1 more timeout, so you can utilize the field. You don't have to take an end zone shot.
That one batted at the line of scrimmage and falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd and goal. Looks like Chris Wormley is the one who got a hand on it.
Well, and you go back to a week ago, this is where they had some struggles. They had a chance, 4 plays from inside the 10-yard line against the Rams to tie it up and weren't able to get it done. They also had several opportunities in the red zone previously in that game and weren't able to convert for touchdowns. So this has been a problem area the last couple weeks.
2nd pass today that Mayfield has had batted down at the line. Mayfield on the move. Dips to the outside and is out of bounds at about the 6. We might have gained a yard on the play. Owasso running him out. It'll be 3rd and goal and 16 seconds to play.
Well, and as mobile as Baker Mayfield is, he really doesn't want to run the football. I think coming into this game, he only had 1 rush for -1 yard. So even though you see him run around the pocket a little bit, he's more trying to extend plays and find lanes. Owasso running him out of bounds.
Baltimore looking for a boost at the end of this 1st half. They get the 2nd half kickoff. 3rd and goal.
You got Beckham and Landry at the bottom of the screen, both stacked up. You got 3 defenders over the top of them.
Mayfield throwing, goal line, popped up and incomplete. Intended for Ratley and Maurice Kennedy, who has had 1 interception so far today. Now 4th and goal, and here comes the field goal unit.
Kennedy does an excellent job keeping that right arm away from the waist of Ratley. A lot of times defensive backs get caught up in putting that offhand, that right arm in this case, and wrapping it around the receiver's waist and pulling it, and that's where they get the pass interference call. Kennedy that time doesn't do it, gets the left arm extended, and knocks it away.
Seibert, 5 for 5 in field goals this young season. make it 6 for 6. That one from 24 yards out. And with 8 seconds remaining in the first half, Cleveland grabs a 10-7 lead. While we have a moment, Saturday, the best game from the best conference. 7th-ranked Auburn rushes into Gainesville, hoping to take the bite out of the 9th-ranked Gators and their rejuvenated offense. It all begins with college football today at 3 Eastern. The SEC is on CBS.
Well, Greg, unless something crazy happens here on the return or the squib kick or whatever it may be, I anticipate the Ravens just taking the knee and going to halftime. You have to remember the Browns won the toss and didn't defer. They accepted it and wanted the ball first on offense. So that means the Ravens will have the ball coming out at halftime. So unless something crazy happens here, I just think they'll take a knee and go to half.
The Ravens are going to have to find a solution to Jarvis Landry. First half, 6 catches, 126 yards. And the Browns are just going to launch this one. This will go through the end zone for the touchback. Pretty good defensive stand down there and with their backs to the end zone, the Baltimore Ravens.
It was a good defensive stand for the Ravens. And when you consider the Browns had the momentum because they converted it on 4th down. How about that? That's that right there. 16 straight games when trailing at the half.
There's Jarvis Landry. And Lamar Jackson will take the knee, and that will do it for the first half.
Good half of football, though.
Oh, yeah. Cleveland. The late field goal to break the tie, and they will go to the break into the first half with our score. The Browns 10, the Ravens 7. Halftime coming up next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station. Welcome back to Baltimore, where at halftime it's a 10-7 Cleveland lead over the Ravens, and our first half highlights presented by DirecTV. This is how the Browns got on the board first in this game. Baker Mayfield to Ricky Seals-Jones, 9 yards, and the score. The Ravens came back to tie it, and the difference is a field goal. Welcome back, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Trent Green. What stood out about that first half to you? Well-played first half in many ways.
It was a well-played first half, and Baker Mayfield's numbers are good numbers. But what stood out to me was the Cleveland defense and how they were able to hold the Ravens in check. The Ravens came into this game averaging over 500 yards a game and 37 points a game. And you take a look at the numbers, just over 100 yards of offense for the Ravens and only 7 points. Look at that, 1 of 4 on 3rd down conversions. So that tells me they haven't been on the field very long, and they're just not producing. So give credit to the Browns defense.
And how about the quarterbacks? You know, Lamar Jackson is the one getting the most publicity coming into this matchup. Take a look at and again, it probably speaks to the amount of time he's been on the field compared to Baker Mayfield.
Just not a lot of opportunities. He did some good things with his legs. He set up that scoring drive that they had to tie the game up at 7. It started with his big long run, and then obviously Baker Mayfield taking over. He had the 1 interception. He's had a problem with the interceptions. That I didn't think it was necessarily his fault. I think Landry gave up on the ball. But look at Beckham Jr. here. Just the 2nd time in his career with no receptions in the first half.
You've got to think they'll address that situation.
Well, it's not that they haven't tried getting to him. I think he's been targeted 3 or 4 times. There have been a couple times where a penalty's been called, or one where a penalty was called and another where it should have been called.
126 receiving yards by Landry, the most by a Browns receiver in the first half since 2008. Braylon Edwards was the last. This is Justice Hill. Bobbles the football inside the 5 and makes his way out short of the, let's see how it may put him down to the 15-yard line. Melanie.
Well, Greg, I spoke with Freddie Kitchens walking off the field. He told me our biggest problem is we need to finish. He feels like his offense is in a much better rhythm today. The offensive line has been great in protection. And he said our defense has been playing their tail off, but we've got to finish drives. John Harbaugh told me he wants his defense to do a better job tackling and getting to Baker Mayfield. Also, look for them to recommit to the run game in the second half.
All right, Melanie, thank you. Well, that was Freddie Kitchens' big message was rhythm, wasn't it?
Rhythm, and Melanie hit it right on the head. It's finish. We touched on it at the end of the half. They've got to finish drives. It happened to them a week ago against the Rams, and they weren't able to finish off the second drive. They got the field goal right before halftime.
Jackson comes out throwing. Sideline pass is complete to Miles Boykin. Caught a touchdown pass in the first half, the only score of the day for the Ravens so far.
Well, just a simple play fake. You see the linebackers bite up, but that's not when you're throwing a deep side comeback to the outside. You're anticipating, if you're the Browns, your underneath coverage is going to take that away. Just that quick little flash fake allows the room for the ball to get in there.
An 18-yard pickup and a first down. This time they will give it to Ingram, and Ingram stacked up, and a late flag comes flying in. And this will be against Cleveland.
Holding, defense number 99. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. It's first down.
Lawrence guilty of the hold. Penalties are going to happen, but I would think the excessive number that the Browns have committed this year drives Freddie Kitchens a little crazy.
Well, you'd have to think, especially here to start off the second half, trying to, as well as your defense played in the first half, now all of a sudden back-to-back first downs, one of them caused by penalty.
Jackson dodges the trouble and is on the run. To the outside, gets a first down across midfield and out of bounds on the far side. Going to be marked out at about the 43-yard line. That's a 17-yard gain.
I know Lamar Jackson gets a little defensive about the quarterback running back comparison thing, and he's made it clear throughout this season that I don't want to run the football, but if I have to, I'm okay doing it. Check out here, he's got 4 defenders. There's 4 defenders, a 5th defender, and he's able to turn a loss into a first down and into Browns territory.
Now from the Browns 43, this is Ingram. Ingram, right up the middle, following, blocking, inside the 30 to about the 25-yard line, finally brought down by Sheldon Richardson.
Excellent blocking at the point of attack. You see Boyle come out and kicks out the defense. Bozeman comes through after pulling to get to the other side. And Ingram was smart. He just kept patient. He said he put his hand on his back, just stayed patient with it.
Don't see linemen downfield that far with the running back very often. And this is Jackson going around the left side, and a nice tackle on the far side of the field by Eric Murray. He is a quarterback with very unique skills, isn't he?
You know, it's just special. And we talked to Joe Schobert, we talked to Myles Garrett yesterday, and just having the discipline, because he can take off and run. You have to maintain your lanes. You have to maintain the consistency, because one little breakdown, one little crease, and he has the speed to be able to do those things.
Jackson eludes the pressure again. This time he can't quite dance out of all the trouble, and is brought down at about the 23 by Larry Ogunjobi.
Well, and that's the part we brought up to John Harbaugh on Friday, is taking the unnecessary hits. The previous runs that he's had where he's had to scramble, he's gotten to the boundary and been able to get out of bounds. Instead, this time trying to go up in the middle, and there's nowhere to go. So now all of a sudden you're taking that extra 2 or 3 hits in the middle of the field, and John said, listen, that's just part of his game. We're okay with it. We understand it. But you don't necessarily like to see it either.
3rd and 8. Throwing, and that one is underthrown. Marquise Brown was the receiver targeted. So 4th and 8. And onto the field comes Justin Tucker.
It doesn't appear to get tipped, as Wilson was trying to jump in the air and get a hand on it.
Justin Tucker has made 27 straight field goals inside 50 yards. This one is 41. On the way and good. And with 11:15 to play in the third quarter, Baltimore pulls even at 10. We'll be back after this. Lamar Jackson took the Ravens on an 8-play, 62-yard scoring drive. Justin Tucker's field goal has tied us at 10. This game gone about the way you expected it to, Trent?
No, it hasn't. I thought there'd be more scoring. I think both defenses have played really well. It's I expect to be a little bit more of a shootout. Now it may still end up that way, but 10-10 here in the start of the third quarter.
Meanwhile, Odell Beckham Jr. still looking for his first. He said what all receivers say. I was open.
Well, yeah, one penalty was called on one of those previous highlights, the collision at the top of the route, and then that time there he was hooked around the waist. There was no penalty called on that one, but Marlon Humphrey, anytime they're in man-to-man, Humphrey's been checking him one-on-one.
This is Nick Chubb. And not much there, and Nick Chubb has been pretty much held in check. That's his 11th carry, and he's got 36 yards on the day so far. Chubb with 36 yards on the ground. Jarvis Landry had a whale of a first half. And Baker Mayfield a touchdown and a pick.
Well, I know we've touched on it a few times in the game, but the Ravens only given up 60 yards a game on the ground, so it has been tough to run against them all year. They are without Brandon Williams, however, who's one of the big run stuffers in the middle.
Mayfield got him wide open midfield. This is Ricky Seals-Jones, and Jones finally knocked out of bounds by Earl Thomas.
This is just a blown coverage, and when talking to the Ravens, they said the area of the field, the throws that Baker Mayfield likes are the seam throws. He likes hitting receivers in those seams and getting them up the field. That time, there's rotation, there's pressure coming off the slot. You could see the underneath coverage work to the outside. Nobody there is. Seals-Jones is just working his way up those numbers. That was an easy pitch and catch.
59-yard pickup on the play. And here are the Browns at the Baltimore 14. This is Chubb. Chubb to the 10. Breaks it to the near side. Looking for the end zone, and he'll get there.
Excellent effort by Nick Chubb.
A couple of nifty moves along the way, weren't there?
Well, and if you're Wink Martindale, you're not going to be happy with the number of missed tackles either. There's one. There's two. Can't call that a missed tackle. He didn't touch him. There's a missed tackle. That's three. Three guys that are in position to bring him down. Give Chubb credit.
Seibert, the extra point is good. 9:41 to play here in the third, and Nick Chubb with the 14-yard run and a Cleveland 17-10 lead. Let's take a look at the game snapshot presented by Progressive Insurance. Baker Mayfield to Ricky Seals-Jones early on, 9 yards and a 7-0 Baltimore lead. And then Landry pulled up short. Baltimore intercepted Mayfield. And before halftime, Miles Boykin on the receiving end of a 9-yard toss from Lamar Jackson. Seibert a field goal, Tucker a field goal, and with a 10-10 tie, it was Nick Chubb going 14 yards and the touchdown, and the Cleveland Browns have the lead by a score of 17-10. So Chris Moore is deep for Baltimore. And he will not run this one out of the end zone. I think so far kind of the quiet heroes of this game have to be playing for the Cleveland defense right now. They have done an outstanding job on defense, especially shorthanded as they are.
They are shorthanded. Number of injuries in the secondary. 3 of their 4 starting secondary players not playing in this game. But now it's their job. Now it's the job of the Ravens. The Ravens came out in the second half. They said, you know what, we got to drive down the field. The opening drive, they went down the field. They only got a field goal to tie it up at 10, but then the Browns responded. Looks like it's going to be that type of second half. Blow for blow.
Over the middle, complete. Across the 30, close to the 35 is Nick Boyle, the tight end. I think we've seen a little bit more of that edge that Baker Mayfield was looking for today.
He did, and the one interception that he did have, yes, it was tight coverage, and
that's Mark Ingram to about the 44.
It was tight coverage, and he probably shouldn't have thrown it, but if you're throwing that in there, you're trusting your receiver to make sure that nobody else catches it. So
now, this Baltimore offense, what is it that they've been doing the first 3 weeks of this season that isn't quite there yet today?
Well, they were running the ball, obviously, at a record pace to start this season off, and now they're starting to get this run game going. Rushing at 131 yards right now, averaging over 200 coming into the game.
On the ground again.
Where Cleveland has done a good job defensively is not giving up the big pass play. The longest completion of the day is 18 yards. There's only been 2 completions over 10 yards. So making sure that nothing big goes over the top. Usually second and short, you can get a play action pass. You're trying to get it over the top. Earlier, they just went for the simple run to try and get the first down, and they do it again.
Gus Edwards. And Edwards for a first down to the Cleveland 45. So now that the running game is working, Baltimore content to sit on that for a while.
So there's 2 different trains of thought. If it's working, don't stop. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. But eventually, at some point in time, you're going to get that play action pass because the Browns are going to have to respect it and drop a guy in.
That pass to the outside, Seth Roberts is complete, and Roberts to about the 35. Let's go down to Melanie.
Well, Greg, after that last series filled with coverage breakdowns and poor tackling, the Ravens secondary got a stern talking to from John Harbaugh. He walked over absolutely heated. I can't repeat most of what he said, but the main message was make tackles and do your job. This Ravens defense has struggled for much of the day today.
Melanie, thank you. Coming up on 7 minutes to play in the third. Edwards in the backfield once again.
Nickel.
And a Ravens first down. Edwards tripped up just as he crossed the 35. Joe Schobert with the tackle. They had a lot of green grass in front of Edwards on that.
Well, and they're just sticking with what's working. Offensive coordinator Greg Roman has decided this is the way we're going to get it done. You could see the message he sent out as they came out here in the second half. They've been running the football. In this drive here, other than a quick little hitch route to the outside, for the most part, a little dump over the middle to the tight end, everything's been pretty controlled with the ground game and short passes.
Once again, Ingram, loose ball on the ground. The Browns say they have it. And they do.
Well, that would be the first turnover of the season for the Baltimore Ravens. They came into today as the only team in the NFL that didn't have a turnover.
They've turned it over here, and it's a big one. Jermaine Whitehead with the hit. The Baltimore Ravens had gone 259 plays on offense without turning the ball over until a few moments ago. Cleveland now at their own 26-yard line. Chubb hurdles one tackler, has first down yardage, and is out of bounds after a fine gain. 17-yard pickup.
Excellent job up front. See J.C. Treader and Eric Cush pull to the outside and lead Chubb around the edge. Melanie just got done telling us that John Harbaugh wasn't happy with his defense and their tackling. That's not going to make him happy either.
From the 43. He'll keep it on the ground once again with Chubb, and Chubb to about the 48, maybe the 49. Patrick Owasho with the tackle.
Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator for the Ravens, trying to dial something up to try and slow these Browns down offensively. Right before the half, the wide open seam route to Seals Jones. Big run by Chubb.
On 2nd and 5, Mayfield pulls it down, now throws, and it's incomplete, out of the hands of Odell Beckham Jr. Marlon Humphrey covering. 3rd and 5.
Well, this is one of the few times you'll see a ball hit Odell Beckham Jr. in the hands, but Humphreys gets the arm in between and knocks the ball out. Normally very sure-handed, but watch Humphrey. That right arm goes between the two arms and causes the separation.
3rd and 5. No catches. Been thrown to 4 times today. Mayfield throwing far sideline. This time it is complete to Ricky Seals Jones for a 1st down.
You can see at the snap of the ball, the safety comes off of that edge, leaving one-on-one, and Seals Jones putting together, that's his 3rd catch now for 82 yards.
And a touchdown.
And the touchdown, the first touchdown of the day for the Browns.
Browns now at the Baltimore 38. Chubb. This time nowhere to go, and he still gets a couple of yards out of it. We have a penalty marker down.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
Derek Kish with the penalty. We go to New York, JB and Nate.
A first this season against the Patriots.
That's right, the first offensive TD the Patriots D have given up. Josh Allen, he goes over the top like Sylvester Stallone. After starting off rocky, they close the gap, 13-10.
Like Sylvester Stallone. Back to Greg Gumbel.
Will you get Nate on the line, figure out what he's talking about?
Over the top like Sylvester Stallone.
So it's 1st and 20 now. Mayfield under pressure, got rid of it on the screen. Hilliard inside the 40. Penalty marker flies as he's brought down at about the 30. And a little bit of a scrum back at about the 45-yard line.
Well, it's Humphrey. I can tell it's Humphrey, so my guess it's Odell Beckham Jr.
And this has become more than a scrum. And another flag is thrown. Can you tell this is a divisional rivalry?
Well, I can tell you right now, somebody better go grab the quarterback and get him out of there. He was right in the mix.
So this will take a little sorting out by the officials, who did what and how much.
Beautifully set up and executed screen. But I have a feeling this is going to be against the Browns. Just anytime you see a pile and you get the offensive linemen come in late, unless they do the old offsetting thing and negate it both, and I'm not a big fan of that either. But
you like to place blame where blame
it's
is.
like, you know what? That always drove me crazy.
They do that in hockey.
Still does. Still drives me crazy. Yeah.
Well, the Browns are doing a retreat, so let's see.
There were multiple fouls by both teams, both during the down and after the play was over. Personal foul by the offense number 13. Personal foul, offense number 64. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 40. Personal foul, defense number 44. All of those penalties offset. Replay first down.
Just what you feared, Trent Green.
You know what, though? That's a win for the Ravens. That is a win for the Ravens because this gains a lot of yards. You're going to see the bottom of the screen, Humphrey 44, Odell Beckham Jr. 13. They're going at it. Over to the left of the screen. In wrestling, that'd be a 2-point takedown. You see Beckham Jr. with a handful of face mask.
This was just a few plays before this last. Humphrey and Odell Beckham Jr.
You can see there's a reason why Humphrey should be upset. But these two been going at it all day. Odell Beckham Jr. doesn't have a catch yet. Humphrey's done an excellent job. He's gotten away with a few, and now that we see that, we know that Beckham Jr. has gotten away with a few as well.
So on 1st and 20, the give is to Hilliard. Hilliard, right side, squeezes inside the 45. Go back to that little scuffle and watch Odell Beckham Jr. right there. That looked like a little bit like a right and the left.
Could be a little jab. Sure, there'll be some fines coming this week. They evaluate all that stuff. Whether there's a penalty or not, the league is looking at all that stuff.
2nd and 15. Mayfield got rid of it over the middle. It's Landry, and Landry to about the 31. That'll be about 3 yards or so short of a first down. Once again, as you pointed out earlier in this game, keeping things manageable.
Well, and that's an excellent decision. Throw it over the middle. Landry's putting together a heck of a day. You see right there, 7 catches, 137 yards. But now it's a manageable third down, and now you're also in field goal range if you don't get it.
Two minutes to play in the third. Mayfield shovel pass inside the 30, 25, 20. Jarvis Landry. Did he get to the end zone? He's going to be marked out at about the 2.
This is perfectly set up. And Kennedy, a lot of people may be wondering, why didn't Kennedy come up and make the tackle when he had the edge? This was going to be an option. Jarvis Landry had Odell Beckham Jr. to his outside, to his left, and as he's coming down the line, it's basically just the old option. You're coming down, the defender takes you, you pitch it to the outside. Kennedy saw what was going on, so he faked towards Landry and then went to get the pitch man. The problem was there was nobody there to get Landry after he made that move, so good job by Landry noticing what Kennedy was doing on the outside and keeping the football and taking it up the sideline.
So now we have a flag dropped in the end zone. Shot clock has expired, and Baker Mayfield says, what's going on? Play clock.
Because the offense substituted into a huddle, the defense is not allowed a matchup. Therefore, we should not have shut the play down. We're going to replay first down. Let's reset the play clock to 25 seconds. Thank you.
So this is the previous play as we see the flip forward. So it's actually a shuffle pass, but see right there, Kennedy sees what's going on with Landry and Beckham Jr., so he does a little fake pitch, keeps the ball and takes it up the sideline. It sets up 1st and goal.
Nick Chubb trying to find the end zone, and he does! Touchdown, Cleveland! Nick Chubb's 2nd touchdown of the day.
Excellent blocking at the point of attack. Bitonio kicking to the outside, 75. Watch as he's driving the defender. That's what just gives Chubb enough of a crease to be able to push it across the goal line.
Austin Seibert for the extra point. It is good. Under a minute remaining in the third. Huge AFC North rivalry. And the Cleveland Browns are leading it 24-10. Nick Chubb has found the mood and the lanes. Chris Moore on the run inside his own 5-yard line. Runs into traffic and gets down at about the 25-yard line. Well, Jarvis Landry has had a day to remember. He's been on the receiving end of 8 passes. He's got 167 yards. That's a career high for number 80. Including that jaunt down the far sideline.
And he got to run a little option. Well, this is the task of this Ravens offense, as we've mentioned multiple times today. Number 1 in scoring, number 1 total yards, number 1 in rushing, but now all of a sudden behind by 2 touchdowns. You would think they have to turn to more of the passing game. The last couple series in this quarter, they've been running the football very effectively. But after Ingram's fumble, now behind by 2 scores.
Good job getting the pass off by Lamar Jackson, Seth Roberts. Let's go down to Melanie.
Well, Greg, Odell Beckham told us yesterday that he and Jarvis Landry had a dream of playing in the NFL together on the same team when they were at LSU. Jarvis actually cried when he found out Odell was being traded to the Browns. That's how happy he was. And Odell said the two of them are just so in sync at all times with everything they do. They live 4 minutes away from each other, but Odell said that's only because I couldn't buy the house across the street. They're as close as it gets, Greg.
Melanie, thank you. Jackson to throw on first down again, has all kinds of time, throws it to the near side, and that's complete to Mark Andrews. Yeah, the Browns will tell you that being in close proximity with Jarvis Landry has been good for Odell Beckham. As we come to the end of 3, 24-10 Browns. We're back after this. Along with our producer, Ken Mack, our director, Suzanne Smith, Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Melanie Collins, we start the 4th quarter here in Baltimore in a most important AFC North matchup. Cleveland leading the Ravens by a score of 24-10. The Ravens from their own 45, looking at 2nd and 5. Jackson throws over the middle. Dropped by Marquise Brown. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Yeah, that's a ball you got to bring in. A little bit extended, but still hits him in both hands. Can't emphasize enough the job that Steve Wilks' defense has done. They're missing 3 of their 4 secondary players, both corners. And right now, the Ravens only have 228 yards of total offense.
Jackson up the middle, across midfield. For the first down to about the 47-yard line.
Bozeman pulls, and that's who Lamar Jackson follows. Nobody makes contact until after already picking up the first down.
Going to keep it on the ground, and that one goes nowhere. Ingram met immediately by big number 99. Whoa. Devereaux Lawrence. 2nd and 12, lost 2.
Six guys blocking, 7 defenders in the box. That doesn't bode well, especially when you miss the block. So I just saw both corners playing at about 10 to 12 yards off. you'd think you almost just got to take a hitch route, just a little dump over the middle.
That pass over the middle is complete to Mark Andrews. Andrews battling a foot injury, really didn't practice this week until Friday. Clock continues to move in a 3rd and 2. You know, we talked way back in the first half about possibly testing those corners for Cleveland. We've really seen a lot of it.
Well, and even on 3rd down here, now they get tight coverage.
Jackson dips to the outside, looking for first down yardage. And dancing along the sideline and getting it.
Well, and the more amazing thing about this, there's 10 defenders. There's press coverage out on the outside, 9 defenders. Press coverage on the outside, deep safety in the middle of the field, and then 9 guys because the Ravens had nobody else. Everybody else was hunkered in there, and yet Lamar Jackson still able to get the first down.
Jackson now with 66 yards rushing.
Now look at the corners, how far off they are. A good 10, 12 yards off. That's what they're going to give you. They're going to give you that 5-yard completion. They're going to test your patience. So far, Lamar Jackson's been good with his patience. They're just going to keep it all in front of him. That's what they've been playing most of the day. And so far, it's been working for the Browns.
So that little 5-yarder turned into a 9-yarder. With the yards after the catch. Gus Edwards still in the backfield. Edwards with the football. Big hole up the middle. Inside the 20, all the way to about the 16-yard line. "14 yards on the play." Look at that hole.
Oh. Bozeman once again with an excellent job sealing Richardson and creating that lane.
Jackson under pressure, shovels it forward. And got the completion to Justice Hill.
Olivier Vernon wrapped him up. It looked like it was going to be an easy sack. He doesn't go down. He gets a hand on him. The shuffle pass forward, very dangerous. Very dangerous, but got away with it.
Very effective. 2nd and 5. Jackson throws right side. That's complete, and out of bounds is Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown, Baltimore's 1st-round draft pick out of Oklahoma. So it's 1st and goal. And the Ravens coming up with a much-needed drive. Ingram back in. Ingram with the ball and hit immediately by Larry Ogunjobi.
Ogunjobi recognizing that Yonda is pulling, and he just swim moves right around Matt Skura. He comes right off the back of Yonda as he's pulling around, and if he doesn't do that, there's going to be a lane right behind Yonda to go into the end zone. Excellent technique by Ogunjobi.
2nd and goal. Jackson stepping up, throwing, end zone, diving attempt incomplete. Marquise Brown couldn't come up with it. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Well, Lamar Jackson's looking out to his right. He has a corner route by the tight end and a flat route by the back, and then his 3rd read is to the back of the end zone. You'd like to see Brown come up with that catch, but that's a hard catch. Make it more catchable. Get it up in the air a little bit. Make it a more catchable ball.
3rd and goal. Jackson lobbing all alone. Touchdown. Mark Andrews.
Well, Joe Schobert and Demarius Randall. Andrews just splits the two. Both of them stop right or near the goal line. Keep an eye, Schobert is on the inside. He stops to catch the crossing route. Demarius Randall, 23. He thinks that Schobert's going to carry, so he's watching the under route. And instead, Andrews is all alone on the back line. Tremendous catch and gets his feet down as the Ravens are trying for two.
And John Harbaugh down 8, looking for points.
Looks like man-to-man across the board.
And movement up front. Let's see who gets the call. Myles Garrett jumped for Cleveland. So it looks like it's going to be against Cleveland. That calls for a different package off the sidelines from John Harbaugh.
Yeah, they put in some big bodies.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 95. Half the distance to the goal. Still the try from the 1 yard line.
So John Harbaugh took a lot of flack last week, going for 2 after touchdowns 3 times.
Yeah, he did. He took a lot of heat about it. He explained the analytics and the study and what they put into it. And now after the penalty, different personnel, as you said, more of a run group personnel compared to spread out last time.
Ingram to the end zone. So Cleveland's lead is cut to 24-18 with 9:51 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Bozeman once again, the pulling guard.
As you would expect, the Baltimore faithful are up and cheering the Ravens. Jawan Taylor will run this one out of the end zone. Hit at the 15, forward to about the 17-yard line, and we go down to Melanie.
Well, Greg, we've been talking a lot today about the impact Jarvis Landry has had. He set a new career high for receiving yards. He has left the field and is being evaluated for a concussion. Right now, his return is questionable, Greg.
All right, Melanie, considering what number 80 has done today and what he has meant to this offense, that's a hit. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield, 322 yards passing today. It's his 5th career 300-yard game. 3 of them have come against the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, I think they would try and run the football and use up some time here, but you also got to stick with what's working.
We get movement up front.
False start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, here we are in the fourth quarter, which has not been good for the Cleveland Browns. Entering today, they were a minus 31 in the fourth quarter. Now they're a minus 39. They have not scored in the fourth quarter all season long while allowing their opponents 39 points. First and 15. Chubb. Chubb with running room. Chubb to the 40. On his way to the end zone. Yards. And if you hadn't noticed, Nick Chubb has a second gear.
Once he got through, he wasn't going to be caught. I didn't know he had that much burst. But watch the pull that's going to happen here. You got both Treader and Cush getting to the outside. So the defense goes and flows with the lineman. What's Chubb do? He lets them chase the lineman, knowing where the point of attack is. He cuts behind them, untouched. And it shows that speed.
What a perfect answer to the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. Nick Chubb, 88 yards. And now the Browns will go for 2. get
Timeout Cleveland.
timeout
Their
called
first
by the
of
Browns.
half.
So we're in a 2-point bonanza, Trent.
Well, you had asked me what surprised me coming out of the half, and I said, well, I thought it'd be more explosive offense and big plays, and it was 10-7 at halftime, and it was a defensive battle, and it was back and forth, and now all of a sudden here in the third quarter and into the fourth, it's been a little bit of an offensive explosion.
We've had 14 points scored in the last 16 seconds. And just when the Ravens and their sideline and their fans were all fired up, Nick Chubb goes 88 yards. Hilliard in the backfield. Mayfield rolling, throwing, incomplete. Tony Jefferson batted it down. But once again, the Browns put a little more space between themselves and their division rivals, the Baltimore Ravens, 30-18.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Burger King. Try the all-new Impossible Whopper, made from plants. T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Americans. T-Mobile, America's network. And by Pepsi. Always be celebrating.
Ah, yes, the inaugural Ardsley High School Sports Hall of Fame class honored this past week. One of the inductees, our very own Suzanne Smith, who is directing today's game. She directs all of our games. Recognized this week by the high school she attended in Westchester County, New York. We love Suzanne. Congratulations.
She's the best. Nobody deserves it more.
So Chris Moore, deep for the Ravens. And on the run from a yard deep in his own end zone. Across the 20 and close to the 25-yard line. Boy, Nick Chubb. 88-yard run, third longest touchdown in Browns history. Chubb had a 92-yarder last year, and Bobby Mitchell had a 90-yarder back in the late 50s.
Well, coming into today, all we were talking about was the Ravens in their running game lead the league in rushing, and the fact the Ravens defense only gives up 60 yards a game on the ground, and Chubb now with 162, still with 9.5 to go here in the fourth quarter.
So on first down, Jackson backing out of trouble and on the move and throwing it away. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Can't say enough about the coverage. I know we touched on just a second ago, and 3 of the 4 guys in the secondary are out. They're starting secondary, and there was nowhere to go in there. They had 5 receivers out in the route. I'm scanning the field just while Lamar was scanning the field. That guy's covered, that guy's covered, that guy's covered. Outstanding job by the Browns.
Jackson throws it this way, and that is complete to Seth Roberts. I am shocked, Trent. You've got guys, not that they're not good football players, but when a team has to make that much of a change, you would think it would have some kind of an impact. It doesn't seem to have impacted the Browns at all.
Yeah, you have to give credit to John Dorsey, the GM of the Browns, and what he's done from a personnel standpoint to acquire the depth that they have. Terrence Mitchell and TJ Carey, those are the 2 backup corners. They've played all day. Yes, they've been in soft coverage, keeping everything in front of them, not giving up big plays. Nice to have Demarius Randall back. But then you look at the backup safeties, Eric Murray, who really is their nickel back today and most of the time, and Jermaine Whitehead, who's made several plays today. So give those guys credit.
That was Justice Hill, stopped by Myles Garrett. And on fourth down, the offense staying on the field. 4th and 3.
So you may be rumbling, why'd they just run the draw on 3rd down? And they must have already known beforehand, hey, we're going for it on 4 down. So go ahead and get some of the yardage back and make it a little bit closer on 4th down.
Jackson throwing. Miscommunication, it falls incomplete. Mark Andrews took his route upfield, up the sideline. That pass falls incomplete, and Cleveland takes over on downs.
Well, back to Baltimore, and Mark Andrews, the tight end here at the bottom of your screen, is going to be matched up man-to-man with Mack Wilson, the rookie out of Alabama. And Andrews is so upset. He knows he has a wheel route, little out and up.
And this is Chubb.
After the missed opportunity, here's his reaction.
Which would seem to indicate he doesn't think it's his fault.
It would seem to indicate that it was Lamar Jackson that picked the wrong side. If you go the other side, if you look at the all 22, if you look at the full field, Marquise Brown was going in motion. He ran a flat route, and actually TJ Carey was in coverage and behind him. If you throw the flat to Brown, he's going to get the first down because of the softness of the coverage when you're going in motion. Down at the bottom, you had one-on-one with the wheel route. So based on that reaction, I would say it was Jackson that missed that opportunity.
Andrews, second-year tight end. Jackson, second-year quarterback. 3rd and 7.
And that's not necessarily one guy. You know, when you throw the helmet, you're not trying to show up the other guy. It's just the competitiveness and if anybody on that knows that they messed it up, it'd be Lamar, right? You're the guy, as soon as you miss it, you're like, oh, I missed. I had the wrong side. I was thinking this side instead of that side.
Oh, and he looks apart.
Yeah,
he looked
feels
apart
awful.
sitting on the bench.
Well, now it's up to the defense to try and get a stop here.
Third and 7, quick pass, far side, and this is Beckham. And spun down, and a penalty marker.
Holding. Offense number 18. That penalty is declined. The play results in 4th down.
Penalty is on Damian Ratley.
Damian Ratley is going to be inside receiver. They're going to get him with the hold. Oh, he's got his hand over the top of the shoulder pads. That's pretty easy to catch.
So on comes Austin Seibert. He was good from 24 yards out earlier. This from 43.
Well, and this would make it a 15-point game, so it'd still be a 2-possession game for the Ravens.
Kick on the way, looks pretty good. 6:56 to play in the 4th quarter, and Cleveland extends its lead to 33-18. And it's a pretty stunned crowd here in Baltimore.
Well, just consider how they just had the touchdown. They got it to within 6. The crowd was going crazy, and then the Chubb long touchdown run.
Hey, coming up next, game 2 of our doubleheader. Most of you will be headed to Chicago, where Khalil Mack and the Bears will be on the prowl. They host their NFC rivals from the north, the Vikings. Also, Jacksonville at Denver. Jalen Ramsey inactive for that game against the Broncos. That's here on CBS.
Oh, roughly 7 minutes to go. Still a couple timeouts in your pocket. As I said, it's a 2-possession game, so no matter what happened, if you're Lamar Jackson, you got to come out focused. And we touched on it earlier in the game when we were talking about Baker Mayfield and the interception. It's got to be the one snap and clear. You got to move on to the next thing. That's part of playing quarterback at any level, but especially in the NFL. You got to do what you can. If they went for it on 4th down in their own territory last series,
they're going for it this time.
It's 4-down territory the rest of the way.
So do you expect them to come out throwing more than usual right now?
I think right now you just need to go down and get the touchdown, and then you can start piecing together time. You want to have some tempo to you, but the most important thing is the execution of it, because you got to get the 1 score before you can get 2.
Going to throw to the far side of the field and complete it to Marquise Brown. And it's right at the 1st down marker. Let's see if they give it to them or not. They do. Clock continues to move, 6:45 to play.
They're not in a complete 2-minute, but they're in a hurry.
Out in the flat to Hill, and Justice Hill spinning away from 2 Browns and is brought down at about the 39-yard line by Joe Schobert. And we have a Cleveland Brown down on the field. That is Sheldon Richardson. So looking at this game, Trent, from start to right now, it appears that the first place the Cleveland Browns have made their mark is on the offensive line.
Yeah, they've done an excellent job when you consider 172 yards rushing.
Chubb was slow to get started, and then he found a groove.
And then from a pass protection standpoint, the Ravens only have 1 sack on the day. So the offensive line for the Browns has done an outstanding job.
On 2nd and 6, that pass is complete to Seth Roberts, and that's good for a first down across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Now, you've been talking about how those corners have been playing off.
They've been playing off all game, and you know, right now, you look at T.J. Carey down here, he's about 8 yards off. You go to the other side, Terrence Mitchell, he was about 10 or 12 yards off.
Jackson going deep down the middle of the field, double coverage, leaping for the ball, incomplete at the goal line.
I think they're calling it interception and a touchback.
Jermaine Whitehead.
They're calling that an interception and a touchback. Whitehead. They go to a cover 2. We talked about the corners, how soft they were. Well, all of a sudden, they mixed it up. They threw the two safeties back up the numbers. So Andrews is running down the middle of the field on Schobert. But Jackson throws this ball high enough to where Whitehead can recover and get back to the deep half of the field, jump over the top, and come up with a tremendous interception. He lands, sorry, Greg, he lands in the end zone, so this is going to make it a touchback instead of down at the inside the 1.
Jermaine Whitehead in the starting lineup because Morgan Burnett with an injured quad sitting it out. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson had gone 248 straight pass attempts without throwing an interception. So here are the Browns from their own 20-yard line with the ball and 5:52 to play. Chubb back to work on offense. And tripped up and will lose a couple of yards. Word from downstairs, Melanie says that Jarvis Landry will not return.
Well, and think of the formula the Ravens have used all season in how they've produced. They don't turn the ball over. They've got 2 turnovers on the day. Ingram, an unheard of fumble that he had earlier in the quarter or earlier in the half, and then right there Lamar Jackson with the interception. There have been communication issues. We saw the play to Andrews where he was out and up and Lamar Jackson threw the flat. It's just very uncharacteristic of the Ravens. Still been able to run the football, 173 yards on the ground. But the Browns have done an excellent job in their pass defense, limiting the Ravens.
Chubb going to be marked down at about the 20-yard line. Forward progress. Remember, a win for the Browns here today makes them 2-2 on the season and ties them atop the AFC North. And meanwhile, this is the Cleveland Browns offense just humming along with 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals in their last 5 possessions.
Well, they only had 10 points at half, so you can see they're putting it together, especially in the second half. It doesn't get any easier, though. They have to go to San Francisco next week to play the 49ers. Then they're at home against Seattle. Then they got their bye week coming up. But Freddie Kitchens was very calm when he walked into that meeting last night. He just said, listen, there's no need to push the panic button in September. He says we want to play better and we will get better. But I'm not in as major of a panic mode as it seems like the rest of the country is.
Mayfield on 3rd and 10 going to loft one and incomplete. So that will bring the punting unit on. 5:36 to play. here in the fourth quarter.
But here's the thing, Greg. The Ravens aren't going to abandon who they are. Moving forward, they want to be a good running team. They want to balance it out with the passing game, and Lamar Jackson has shown improvement in the passing game. They've got some young weapons that have speed. Their defense can get better than what they played today. Their special teams is excellent.
Fair catch made at the 40-yard line by Cyrus Jones. So the Baltimore Ravens out of timeouts. And we'll remind you, stay tuned for the NFL Today update delivered by Pizza Hut, time permitting. So here's that offense that the Ravens rightly could point to with pride. 36.7 points a game the first 3 weeks, 18 today. About 200 yards less offense. Jackson to the sideline, incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Well, and this is the first of 3 games against their division. They've got Pittsburgh and Cincinnati coming up, and then they got to play Seattle before their bye week. So this 3-game stretch is an important one. As everybody knows, the division games carry a little more weight.
And a little bit more intensity, too. On the blitz, hit as he's thrown. The pick made by Deborah Lawrence.
It's going to be Jermaine Whitehead that comes with a blitz, and he's untouched. Keep an eye on Whitehead. He's coming right through. That's how this pass is affected. Lawrence jumps up. He's able to get a hand on it.
It's a nice play for the big D lineman.
But it all starts with the pressure. Jermaine Whitehead getting on Lamar Jackson.
And that begins the cascade of fans to the exits. The Browns at the 39-yard line with the ball. And the Ravens unable to stop the clock. And this is Dontrell Hilliard.
Well, and Steve Wilks, after 1 year as a head coach in Arizona, now coming over as the defensive coordinator for Freddie Kitchens, put together a heck of a game plan today. And in fact, they got 3 turnovers against a team that hadn't turned the ball over. They're going to hold them to 200 yards less than what they'd been averaging all year.
And Lamar Jackson, his first 2 picks of the season. On 2nd and 5, this is Hilliard again. And we have a marker down on the far side.
Illegal shift, offense number 18 was never set. This penalty's declined. It's 3rd down.
I think Freddie Kitchens might mention those penalty markers this coming week in Cleveland. It's a funny thing about coaches. There'd be plenty to celebrate, but there's always something to talk about.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You break this game down, and really it's a story of 2 halves. I mean, the first half was a completely different game than what we've seen here in the second half. Freddie Kitchens, as we said, didn't want to put in a panic mode, knew the importance of this game. Felt good about his team, and they came out and executed today.
Mayfield to Beckham. And the catch is made on Marlon Humphrey. So that's a first down.
Well, and Humphrey's done his job today. That's only That's only Odell Beckham's second catch on the day. 2 catches, 20 yards. Anytime they're in man-to-man, Humphrey's been checking him.
Well, at the beginning of the day,
they've had a lot of altercations throughout the day, I guess, verbal and physical.
At the beginning of the day, you tell the Ravens that they're going to hold Odell Beckham to 2 catches. You go, oh, it's going to be a pretty good day. Under 4 minutes to play. And Hilliard bulls his way to the 10. So this is looking more and more, as we talked about at the very top of the day, Trent, like the Cleveland team that their fans were expecting from the very beginning of this season.
Well, there were such high expectations for this team just because of the way they finished last season, the way their offense produced, the job that Freddie Kitchens had done as offensive coordinator, and ultimately in the offseason was named head coach. And when you look at some of the moves that they made, bringing over in a trade Olivier Vernon and Odell Beckham Jr., and what they've done in draft in recent years, bringing in Morgan Burnett for the defense. It's you look at what they did, there was so much excitement built up and expectation. And
Hilliard to the 1.
Losing by 30 to Tennessee in the opener wasn't a great way to start it. But as we've talked throughout this game, Freddie Kitchens wasn't into panic mode. He just wanted to continue growing and building this team and gaining confidence. And he's learning as a first-time head coach. The players are all playing together, whether it be offensive line, different guys in the huddle, playing with a certain sense of urgency and expectation. But they're still 2-2. They're in first place. And now it's up to Baltimore to regroup because, as we've said, they've got a couple division games here in the next 2 weeks.
Hilliard, left side, end zone, and touchdown. Dontrell Hilliard with his second rushing touchdown of the season. And Trent, I'm sure Coach Harbaugh will take the same approach with his teams, just one game.
Yeah, he's going to be disappointed. Obviously,
Sure.
There's going to be disappointment. And basically, it's not playing to the standard that they set and that they believe in. Don't turn the ball over. Play good offensively, defensively, special teams. And they just haven't done that today. And with the turnovers on offense, not getting the consistency out of the passing game that they've had defensively, now Cleveland has over 500. They have 531 yards of total offense. It's just all around it was a bad game for the Ravens. And how they regroup, how they move forward, I can tell you right now, I know how John Harbaugh is going to respond. And he's going to get these guys regrouped and ready to roll.
2:14 to play. And the Ravens are out of timeouts. Yeah, the Browns showed us a little grit today, didn't they?
They sure did. It's it was interesting coming into meetings. I thought they all walked in, with a good little, I don't want to say swagger, but they definitely had confidence when they came in. They weren't in the same panic mode that the rest of the country, I believe, was.
This is Chris Moore from inside his 5-yard line and just across the 20 before he is brought down. So as Trent detailed just a little while ago, this is what the Ravens look like upcoming. They travel to Pittsburgh and then host Cincinnati, 2 AFC North rivals back-to-back. They'll go to Seattle and then host the New England Patriots. So the Ravens, from their own 21-yard line, 2:09 on the clock. And that pass is complete to Miles Boykin, and that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play here at Baltimore, Maryland, and it's been all Cleveland.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Indeed, the world's #1 job site.
Well, on Tuesday, Baker Mayfield and his Browns teammates hosted the inaugural Cleveland Browns Special Olympics uniform reveal and play football clinic at the team's practice facility. Their involvement comes as a result of their Browns Give Back to Northeast Ohio program. That's very nice. 2 minutes to play. And Lamar Jackson going down at the hands of Joe Schobert. 4th sack of Lamar Jackson today.
Schobert comes up, and you can see the attempt of the block by Justice Hill.
That pass is complete and brought to a standing halt at the 26-yard line is Hayden Hurst, the tight end. That game in Buffalo, we have bonus coverage coming your way once we wind down here. About 7.5 to play in the 4th quarter. New England with a 6-point lead at Buffalo. Fourth and 5. That pass is complete over the middle and out across midfield, and down at about the 45 is Hurst once again. Hayden Hurst is the 2nd-year tight end out of South Carolina. 29-yard pickup. Penalty markers down, up the middle, and it is complete. It's inside the 20. Once again, Hurst. 3 straight completions to the tight end, Hurst. Let's see what the flag is about.
Well, and Schobert was saying he took the ball away when they landed. They called him down, and you can see by that replay that was the case.
Illegal shift. Number 15 and number 81 were both moving at the snap. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
It strike you when we talked to Joe Schobert, he was about as mild-mannered a middle linebacker as you've ever run across.
But he doesn't play mild-mannered.
No, he doesn't.
The way he plays on the field, he's one of those guys. You know, we've come across those guys where they say, when I step on the field, I just click a switch and I go into a different personality mode, and I would have to say he's one of them.
1st and 15. Jackson completes that ball to Willie Snead, and Snead up the sideline. Snead looking for the end zone, and he'll get there. Touchdown. 50-yard pitch and catch for the Ravens.
Well, it's interesting. Most of the day, the Browns defensively have played soft, left everything in front of them, didn't want any big plays, and now this whole series, they've been blitzing. They've been bringing pressure, bringing secondary pressure. Eric Murray that time coming off of the left edge. So what does that do? It leaves a lot of guys in one-on-one coverage, and Snead takes advantage of it with the blocker out in front.
When you least expect it, right?
Yep. Well, that's why I said it was really odd that they, instead of just playing that prevent defense, keep everything in front, come up and make the tackle, they were more and more aggressive. That's how they were able to hit Hurst down the middle, and of course Snead on the short pass he converts into a 50-yard touchdown.
So half a minute to play here in the 4th quarter. This is what Cleveland is looking at. They travel out to the West Coast to meet the 3-0 49ers. 49ers coming in 3-0 today, and then host Seattle before traveling to New England and to Denver. Do you notice there are very few soft touches on the NFL schedule anymore?
Man, it's well, sitting here looking at we're going to have bonus coverage of the New England and Buffalo game. That's a 6-point game. We're checking out scores as they flip across, and the Chiefs and Lions were still, what, about a 3-4 point game?
So it's a 40-25 lead for the Cleveland Browns in half a minute to play. Browns expecting an onside kick. And they don't get it. This is Dearness Johnson at the 10. And runs it out of bounds. So John Harbaugh ditching the tools of the job. And they'll go back to the drawing board tomorrow.
And just as Freddie Kitchens told us, John Harbaugh's going. This isn't panic mode. You know, they just didn't play their style of football today.
Especially at home. Maybe the biggest surprise is
right.
They usually perform better here in Baltimore, but the Browns just came in and just took ownership of this game. Cleveland and Baltimore 2-2 atop the AFC North. And that will do it. Cleveland gets a 2-0 road start for the first time since 1994. They had not won here in Baltimore since 2015. But they get the job done here with a big statement. Big statement.
Well, it was just because of the expectations coming into the season, how the season started against Tennessee, and now they've gotten things turned around.
40-25 Cleveland, a winner for Trent and Melanie and all of us here in Baltimore. Greg Gumbel saying so long. Let's take you to James Brown in New York for the NFL Today update, delivered by Pizza Hut.